Hello, Kathy. How are you? Good morning. We've got a lot of stuff working here. It's all going to be great today. So we'll just let a few other people gather around and we'll start talking about what's working in the kitchen today. I think it's time. I can pull some stuff out of here. I think this will be good. I got a little early start this morning. Oh, yum. This will be a surprise in a few minutes. Who all's here this morning? Hello, Edward. Hello, Kenny. Hello, Sale. Hello, everybody. So we got a lot working in the kitchen this morning. I got up, no, I did not. I slept until 9 o'clock this morning. I changed, hello, Kevin. I changed my, your iPhone will like tell you when to go to bed and then wake you up with birds and stuff. So last night, Hugo and I were talking and he said, oh, the thing goes off so early in the morning. So I changed it. Instead of waking up at 7, now, as long as I'm up by 9, I can be ready for this now. So that's the story. I slept till 9, then I got to cooking. So Sale asked the other day about how to make garlic last. So I've got 2 big heads of garlic over here that I've roasted in a 450 degree oven with nothing but a little olive oil on them. Yesterday, if you remember, I carried on forever about how I hate tomatoes. So today, hello Lisa, we are going to make oven roasted tomatoes. And that's where we're going to start today. So I am doing Ina's recipe. So a little balsamic vinegar, olive oil, salt, pepper, sugar, and I almost forgot the garlic. So I'm going to put a little fresh, good, just brand new, bought Simply garlic, yum yum. And put a little in there. And then I'm just going to take a spoonful of this and spoon it over each one of them. Hopefully getting a little, these are exactly everything that's wrong with tomatoes. They're a little white in the middle. I could hear my knife crunching through them. They're just exactly what I hate about tomatoes. But after I do this and roast them, then like the child with no ability to step away from the candy bag on Halloween, I will probably eat so many of these that I will have giant ulcers in my mouth for the next several days because I will just kill my mouth with all of the acid in these tomatoes. But they make these at Murray's, the cheese shop here in New York. You Kentuckians now know about it because Murray's is right in the middle, is the cheese kiosk right in the middle of all your Kroger's, right? So they make these at Murray's down, and I go to Bleecker Street and get them. And I will get like a container this big. I'll eat them all in like 30 minutes, and then everything that I put in my mouth hurts after that. So who else is here? Hello, Charlotte. Hello, Denise. Hello, Oscar. Hello, Jay. Am I missing anybody else? You guys are great. So I'm going to take, my oven is still hot from roasting my garlic. I'm going to pop these babies right in here. Hopefully I won't, yikes, drop them. And we're just going to forget that they're even there. Right? Let's not even worry about that. So, now that we've gotten everything started, I'm going to play a little something. Last night, one of the great musicians of our time passed on. God forbid. And while most people know him for the song Paradise, this is, I think, not only his very best song by a long shot, hello Kathy, but the very best version of it.
We had an apartment in the city. Me and my husband.
And I tweeted her this morning and asked permission to play it.
It's been years since the kids were grown. A life of their own left us alone. John and Linda live in Omaha. Joe is somewhere on the road. We lost Davy in the Korean War. I still don't know what for. Don't matter anymore. You know that old trees just grow Hello in there. Hello.
So if you don't have this album, it's Bette Midler's first, and every single track on it is better than the last one.
We don't talk much
So
anymore.
get that on your list.
He sits and
My
stares
sweet neighbor
through
brought
the
me
back door
an Easter
screen.
lily today, so I'm feeling completely blessed today.
And all the news just repeats itself like some forgotten dream that we've both seen. Someday I'll go and call up Judy. We work together at the factory.
So I saw John Prine play back in the late 80s in Muhlenberg County at the Muhlenberg County Fairgrounds with the Everly Brothers opening for him. It was one of the great, wonderful things in this world. I believe Brian Williamson sometimes checks in with us this time of day, and I'm almost positive that he was with that group of people that took off. So here are my beautiful garlic beds, all nice and done. So all I'm going to do with these is when they're a little cooler and I can touch them, I'm going to pop all of that delicious roasted meat out into a little shallow dish. I'm going to cover it over with, cover it completely with olive oil so it kind of keeps the air and everything out of it. And then you've got perfect ready to roll. Now I probably will mush these a little bit or even grind them up a little bit so that I have paste. That way you can throw it into a sauce, you can throw it into a vinaigrette, you can throw it, toss it into put a little spoonful into a salad and toss it around. It's just awesome. And, oh gosh, Kathy, I'm so sorry. Oh God, I didn't see that. I'm so sorry, you guys. So, I know that there's a lot of sad going on in the world, but we did lose one of our greatest songwriters last night. So there you go. And I have over here in this little pot over here, which you can't really see because it's way over in the corner, but I have put about the last of a jar of fig jelly and the other half of my remaindered bottle of, what am I trying to say, balsamic vinegar, and I'm just letting this cook really slowly down because I can't find anymore my very favorite commercially made fig and balsamic vinegar reduction. I love it, but I need, it's called Villa Gramelli, and I can only find it in plain, and it's so much better when you can find it the fig version, but I don't know what's happened in the world, so there we go. So let's see here, that's starting to boil. I'm going to give that just a little turn down of the heat because you don't want that to cook off too fast, and I don't want to have to clean the pot really if I don't have to. There we go. So now, I think I said yesterday, hello Rita, how are you? I am going to, the mother-in-law's tongue is real, yes. So I actually probably could use a little drink. I forget about it sometimes. But yeah, I am a crazy plant lady. I somehow managed to grow more things with nothing but north-facing windows than almost anybody can imagine. So yeah, mother-in-law's tongue, bada bing, there we go. Now she's happier, she's had a drink. So it's Easter this weekend, guys, right? And so at Christmas, we had lamb. And I decided, since we're making lamb, I made chimichurri. And I made a mint chimichurri because what's better with lamb than, you know, the classic sort of English way of doing it is lamb with mint jelly. But lamb with chimichurri is going to be even more delicious. It was such a huge hit at Christmas, I can't even tell you. Hello, Jeannie, how are you? So I've got my little tiny baby guy out here, and then let's get this in here. Why does this not want to sit on right? It doesn't seem like. There we go. Now it's right. So I have here mint, basil, cilantro, and 3 scallions. Normally, I don't say normally. Oh, normally I would put a ton of I put a whole package of chives in here, but there just weren't any. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? So what I'm gonna do is you can just shove all this stuff in here. Just shove it all in. Now I did take the stems off of the mint and the basil, but I kept the stems on the cilantro because there's so much flavor in cilantro stems. So let's get all of this shoved in. Yeah, if you guys don't know this album, you are absolutely missing out on one of the great treats in this world. And for those of you who don't know this little bit of great music trivia, when Bette Midler was first starting out, she had a regular gig at the Baths underneath the Ansonia, which is a big, beautiful old building on the Upper West Side. And when I say Baths, I mean Baths. It was the early 70s, and it's, hello, Matt Pinto, it's where you went to have sex in public, right? And Barry Manilow was her music director, her arranger, and her pianist. So you can imagine the fun that the two of them had. They did have a little falling out for a number of years, but they got over it recently. So another thing I did this morning was when I cut the ends off of my garlic to roast, I just saved the little tiny pieces. Oops, well, there's olive oil on the floor. So I saved those, and I'm going to put those in there. And we could probably add a little bit more garlic if we really wanted. Because you can't ever really have enough garlic, because garlic is in many ways the heat in your chimichurri. In other ways, the heat in your chimichurri comes from a nice handful of red pepper flakes, right? Heat, delicious. And then I'm going to put some salt. Oh my goodness, that is boiling like crazy over here. Ah, yes. I'm just going to put a handy little bit of this in here and a few good turns of pepper. Just a few good turns of pepper. And then last but not least, you've got to have some acid in here so that your greens don't turn brown over the next few days while we're waiting for it to all congeal together and get uber delicious before lamb on Sunday morning. So I probably should have done this ahead. You know, I got a few seeds in there, so I'm going to do it to keep it seedless. That will be nicer. So my handy dandy. If I used this, you've seen me use this. Have I told you where this came from? This was a gift from one of my very favorite people who ever lived. God bless her. She went by the moniker, the Queen of the Hudson, because after her husband died, she managed to get public housing, and she had a view right on the Hudson River, just a few blocks to the east of me on 9th Avenue and 16th Street, where she could see all the way to Staten Island. And some of the most amazing pictures that I have from 9/11 are pictures she took from her big picture window. And she always juiced a lemon and put 100 proof vodka and soda. That was her nightly drink while she watched Jeopardy every day. So I'm going to put that in there. Yum. She was the granddaughter of slaves, and she told me that her grandmother always told her to take care of your teeth and your feet, because those are two things that you're going to need your whole life. And she was also the widow of a jazz great, and there is nothing better than getting first-hand dirt on people you admire, I have to say. So excuse me while I do this. I'm just going to smile. And I'm going to go both directions until it all starts to congeal a little bit. And eventually I'm going to have to put a little more olive oil in here because it's not going to be thick enough. But always better to go too little in the beginning than to have something that's not hearty enough and not thick enough and green enough. Let's see. How are we doing? Alright, now I'm going to see what it looks like in here. Hello, Dana. Let's see. Hello, Jana. Let's see. So where's my... Oh, here. Perfect. Cross-contamination, always a great thing in the kitchen. Try to get all the flavors that you can get. I'm going to put just a little bit more olive oil in here because why not? So really, what's the difference between chimichurri and pesto? If I took this and put some toasted nuts and a little cheese in here, we'd have pesto. But because I put just spicy stuff in it and no cheese and no nuts, it's chimichurri in it, right? Other people might yell at me and say, oh my gosh, Ellisa, there's so many more differences than that. But in essence, you have, and think about it, where does chimichurri come from? Chimichurri is de rigueur in Argentina, where meat is always what's for dinner, right? But where everybody from Argentina is either Spanish or Italian. So the Italian sense of cooking really informs the things that are going on in Argentina. Duh, too many A countries. So let's see what we've got here. Clean spoon. This looks good. Oh, that's delicious. I would like it to be a little spicier though. What did I do with, here's my red pepper flakes. Let's take some of those. This is cooking right nicely, but it's still nice and loose, and you want it to be nice and thick. So I'm gonna put, that didn't get the kind of heat I wanted, so I'm putting another palmful in. And I'm actually gonna put a little bit more olive oil in here again too. Let's get some of that, the last of that garlicky olive oil out of this little guy. And just a little bit more. There we go. And one last little, oh yeah, that heat started kicking up really late. So now it's gonna come up in the front too. Chimichurri. So I'm gonna find a nice little bowl and put it in here. And I'm gonna cover this like you would pudding, so that when I put the plastic on it, I'm gonna let the plastic touch the top of the chimichurri in the bowl so that it's sealed closed. Nice, I didn't know you lived in Argentina for a semester. How's your Spanish, baby? Yes, so I'm gonna take this out. Here's my little guy. Let's do this a little this way. Whoops. Bring me to the bar. Boogie rhythm, yeah, boy, that's the bass and guitars with him. And you jump when you play reveille. So, this, if you guys are doing lamb for Easter, there's really nothing better than chimichurri with the lamb. You know, those of us who are of English tradition grew up with mint jelly on the table, right? But this is so much more interesting, so much more flavorful. Like I said, the whole family went crazy. Now, behind the scenes, you didn't notice that I lost a giant spoonful behind here. So I'm just gonna go grab that and put it back in. This is gonna get set aside where it can get cleaned up in a few minutes. So good. Excellent. Now let me just set this aside where I can't hurt it or dump it over or lose it. But I can get all kinds of things in here. So I've made a terrible mess, and I'm gonna pull this open. My fig and balsamic vinegar is really starting to cook up here. It's not starting to, well, I'm splashing things all over the place today. I'm out of control. So let me have a second to wipe this up after I lick my spoon. Oh, Michael, so good. Kathy, I'm glad you're back. And yes, you know, there is a terrible Lieber gene, and it means that we can cry at anything. I haven't eaten in a fast food restaurant in 30 years come June 1st, and I still cry at McDonald's commercials. I'm like a freaking child. So, here we go. Let's see what's happening. So now that I've made a terrible mess and somewhat cleaned it up, I'm going to put everything in the sink, and then we need to do a similar thing here. I've got to pop all of these garlic cloves out. Let me give you a little twist this way. And I'm just gonna push them out. They'll pop right out. Look, and we might have to, they might come out not perfectly, but we'll get a lot of that out of there. Look at all that yum. Can everybody see all that yummy garlic? It's just delicious popping out. This one I didn't get the top off of. I'm gonna have to give it a little bit. Okay, this is really hot, and I wish I had hands made out of something other than flesh, but I'm still gonna get it out of here. We might have to do this later in the day just because it's so gosh darn hot. And my hands are wet and sticky and my nose is running and all of that. So here we go. So that's what we're gonna do with this is just, you see this is already like mush. And then after you get it out of its skins, just cover it over in olive oil and put a nice tight lid on it. And that will stay good for, well, it's never lasted long enough in my house to go bad. So there's that. And see, you don't even have to blend this because it's just as soft as can be. Now I did this for about, close to an hour probably, but it's not really a precise, ooh, yeah, I can't touch that anymore. I'm gonna have to wait. So we'll do that, I'll do that later. And then the only other thing we have going here today, guys, is to see how the tomatoes are looking. And let's just take a little peek. Longer they're going to have. They're cooking nicely, but it's going to take a long time in here. They're still nice and big. You want them to cook completely so they're almost flat, so that all of the water in the tomato has evaporated and all of that. So let's see. I don't think I can do anything else here today, but I did have a couple of things that I thought would be fun to talk about today. And so let me just check my notes. Notes, fantastic. So, I should have started today. Good Pesach to everybody who is observant. It is Passover, one of the holiest days in the Jewish calendar, and there are more Jews in New York than in Israel, so it's a big day here, or an even more quiet day. So, happy Pesach. Good Pesach to everybody. Let's see. The best news I saw today is that the Himalayan mountains are visible from India for the first time in 30 years. It goes back to what I keep saying, guys. This is the good Lord, Mother Earth, whomever you believe in, telling us that we have FUCKEDUP, our stewardship for the last many years. Hello, Karen. And look, the air is clear. I heard migrating birds the last couple of mornings. The world's changing before our very eyes, and we should see that it's changing and changing for the better. Let's see. What else did I see today? Oh, blue shop towels. The pop-up shop towels that probably everybody has in their garage are the best material for making homemade masks, number one. Then, let's see. Paris has prohibited outdoor exercise. Stay home. I am going to be so effing pissed if I get told that I can't go outside to exercise all through April and May. I am going to be beyond angry. Stay home. Can you imagine y'all having to hear me every day pissed off because I can't go outside in the sunshine? You do not want that. You don't want to piss me off. You don't want to see me angry. I'm normally a very, very, very nice lady. You do not want to push me. So stay home and let me continue to go outside this spring. I'm going to be very angry if they have to do that here. So, especially New Yorkers, stay home. And then finally, I read the most amazing article. Hugo sent it to me last night. It was in Axios, I think, about something called hypocognition, meaning a lack of, less than. Hypo meaning not enough, right? Hypoglycemic, right? One of the things that the author of the book that was being discussed here talked about was that when he went to Tahiti during graduate school, he found that the Tahitians have no word for grief. They have no concept of grief. And so when a loved one dies, there's no sitting Shiva. There's no your family coming around to support you. People get physically ill. They run fevers. They get sick to their stomach. They take to their bed because as a culture, they've decided to not focus on that and not give people that opportunity to fall into grief because they've decided that this is better for their cultural cohesiveness. And how much that speaks to where we are and the things that we don't know and that we don't think about, that we don't get to in our thinking because we don't have a word for it. And, that's kind of one of those things like, you just kind of live mindlessly. And I think that that's kind of where we are, is that we have become a community of people who live without thinking. And so, think. Put words to your feelings. Express your feelings. Call somebody. Talk about your feelings. You will break. We will all break if we don't talk about how we're feeling every day. And if we don't find some outlet for our emotions every day. And so, Kathy had to tap off a second ago because the song was a little too much for her, but she got herself back together, and that is where we all need to be. If you need to step aside, if you need to go lock the bathroom door and cry into a towel, do it. But then come out and tell somebody that you just went in the bathroom and cried into a towel, because otherwise you're going to feel isolated and alone, even if you're surrounded by a family full of loved ones. Okay? So that's kind of my thought for today. My fig and balsamic is starting to be big, slow bubbles. So that means it's getting toward thick, which is what I want, because I like to take it and just like get a big slice of mozzarella, chop up some basil, drizzle a little on it, put those roasted tomatoes. That's the perfect summer lunch to me. So anyway, guys, that's kind of my rant for the day. Does anybody have anything that they would like to say? Oh yes, the Libra temper. Anybody who knew my grandmother Ellisa, who was the Libra in my family, I remember once the youth minister at our church told me that I was going to hell in front of our whole youth group, and because I sang liturgical music with orchestras, and I grew up in a faith that believes that there should be no, the passage in the Bible is sing and make melody in your heart. And as I've heard 1,000 times, it does not say sing and play the piano or strum the guitar or beat the drum. So that's how I was raised. But I always believed that there was a difference between the personal and the spiritual a little bit. And I didn't think that there was a damn thing wrong with me singing Mozart and Bach and Beethoven and all of that. And so I came upstairs and I told my grandmother. All the Libras out there are going to know exactly what happened next. She decimated and basically castrated that little bastard, who I understand is a really lousy human being. Just through the grapevine, that's what I hear. Right in the middle of the church building. So that was fun. But boy, it really made me feel great. So anyway, hello Michelle, and hello everybody. And I think that I'm just going to have to let my tomatoes cook all afternoon. And I'm going to listen to some more Bette Midler and some more John Prine. And I don't know, guys. I hope you guys have something great going. I got a lot of oily stuff in my sink that needs to be washed. And I'm not sure. I'm going to do just a little something. Yesterday, Christy Frank suggested that if you put your camera down up higher, so that's what I've done. I guess I'll have to go and look and see if this worked any better and if I have to change all the lighting in here. So if I've not looked particularly good today, mi apologia. And that's all, guys. You guys go do something great for yourself. Feed your souls. Read something you love. Listen to music you love. And I just thought of something that I really can't not say today. Last night, I watched Uncorked, which is the new movie with Courtney Vance and Niecy Nash about the young man who wants to be a master sommelier. And I just would like to say, before you guys watch it, it's a lovely movie. But there's not anybody in this world who could work in a wine store for a few months, take a year course, and come anywhere close to passing the Master Som exam. So it's a great movie, and I say to anybody, you know, support art, support wine, support all of that, but do not think that you can go and open 6 or 8 bottles of wine and in a year be ready to sit that test. So it would take you a year to like pass a basic test. I actually had taken a class for 6 months where I studied. I took a 3-hour class every week. I had a study group every week, and I studied 11 hours every Sunday for the Monday class. And that was only enough for me to be able to pass the first level of the Master Som. So don't be confused. When they say that there are only 260, 270 in the world, there are only 270 in the world because it's one of the hardest tests you'll ever want to attempt to take in your life. Right, Ollie? So there you go, guys. That's the story. I need to get my chimichurri covered and refrigerated before it starts to fall off. And yes, and Sale agrees that Sale also knows how much information there is about wine. You know, you think, okay, I know the major grapes: Riesling, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Noir, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Syrah, right? They're your 7 grapes. Oh my God, that's nothing. You got to learn now. You got to learn the Chateauneuf de Pape 13, and those were none of those grapes. So anyway, guys, that's my story. So go on Netflix and watch Uncorked today. It's a sweet movie, and play some great music, and start preparing for your Easter feast. Today's the day, right? And may God bring John Prine in. I read a quote today. Said, "When I get to heaven, I'm going to thank God for the greatest life any man could have asked for. I'm going to start a rock and roll band and get a nice hotel room." So I hope that he is relaxing in the best hotel room heaven has to offer. R.I.P. John. Bye, everybody.